Hey there, it's Kaylee, and we're back for tip number 6 in our Gmail PD series. So this time we're going to be talking about something called filters. I know in our last tip I talked a little bit about inbox zero and how you can try to accomplish that monumental task. I'm sure it feels like for now, but filters are another great way to kind of help preemptively get yourself to inbox zero. So to start off, we're going to be taking a look at our inbox. To create new filters, we're going to be under Settings and Settings. Then there's actually a Filters and Blocked Addresses tab. So we're going to click on that, and you'll see that I have a filter already in place. Filters, like I said, are great because they kind of preemptively save you from getting certain emails into your inbox. You can just send them directly to a location or automatically mark them as read. Just kind of get them out of your hair. So you can see right here, my filter is for GoGuardian emails. So I know our teachers every day get a summary of GoGuardian, the classes that they have, the monitoring sessions they've completed. Those are great to have. And every now and again, I definitely need to go back and look at them, see what was going on during our session today. Maybe go back and check something out that happened specifically. But every day, I don't want to see a GoGuardian email sitting unread in my inbox. Since I've set up this label, I have not seen a GoGuardian email at all, but I'm still getting them every day because I've set up this filter to sort messages that are from the GoGuardian email account. So you can search for those. We'll talk about how to do that here in just a second. But I set those messages that are from this sender are going to automatically do this. They're going to skip my inbox. They're not even going to go into my inbox. I will not even see them. They're going to skip my inbox. They're going to automatically be marked as read so that I don't have a ton of unread emails sitting there. And I want them to go into a label that I've created that I've nested under my TIS label called GoGuardian. So if I look at that over here under my TIS label, here's my GoGuardian email label. When I click on that, there are all my GoGuardian emails. So you can see I've gotten some even as recently as this afternoon. I did not have to sort those into this label at all thanks to that filter. And it is amazing. So that's what we're going to work on today. So we're going to go back into settings again. Then we're back in that filters and blocked addresses label. So now we're going to talk about how you can set up something similar. So think about emails that you get that you don't necessarily want to unsubscribe from. Like I would never want to unsubscribe from a GoGuardian email. I want to have those summaries in case I ever have to go back. There are other tech tool emails that I've signed up for to send me tips and tricks on how to use their program a little bit more fluently or more creatively. And I love getting those emails, but sometimes they just wear on me sitting in my inbox being unread when I know that I don't necessarily need to look at that email, but I just want to save it just in case I want to go back. So think of those kinds of emails, not necessarily from people. You might have some instances where that would be appropriate, but think about like payroll. If you're not using those payroll notifications every other week, you can create a filter for those. So that's what we're going to do now. So on this page right here in about the middle, you'll see a little button that says create a new filter. So when you click on that, it brings up a search bar so that you can find messages that you would like to filter out. So if you know a specific email address that they're coming from, like with those GoGuardian ones, I knew that email address, so I pasted it in here. Or if you know just a subject. So like one example that I can think of for myself, I signed up for Wakelet as a part of that Monitoring Made Easy program that I sent out. And so I went ahead and signed up for their, I think it's like an every couple of weeks thing. They send out some little tips about how to use Wakelet or creative ways that people are using it. And I like to see those sometimes, but I don't necessarily want them to be in my inbox. It would be nice if I could just put them somewhere. And then when I have time one afternoon, maybe just go through and look, oh yeah, that would be really cool to look at with Wakelet. So I'm going to search the subject. I don't know the email address right off, but I know that it would have Wakelet in the subject line. So you can fill out as much or as little of this information as you'd like to. Then we can search for those emails. So I have some here. So one is a subject line of somebody that I was communicating with about Wakelet. So I'm not going to include that one. But these two emails here are from Wakelet, and it's those newsletter things. So I'm going to checkbox both of those. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to go in and create a filter for these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open one up. And then I'm going to copy this email address, because anything that comes from this email address is what I want to actually create a filter for. So if I go back into my settings, now that I've got that email address, I'm going to paste that in here, and I'm going to actually create a filter for this email address. So instead of clicking search this time, I'm going to click create my filter. So now this is where I have to checkbox what I want to happen when I get one of these messages. So I can decide I want to skip the inbox. That's how I'm going to get to inbox 0. I don't even want to see it come into my inbox. I want it to go somewhere else. So I'm going to have it skip my inbox. You can choose to mark it as read, so it's not sitting in one of your labels as an unread message. You can go ahead and have it automatically open. You can apply stars. You can have it go into a certain label. So if you have a label already created, you would just select that label. If not, you can make a new label. So I'm going to make a new label. I'm going to call this label Wakelet, and I would like it to be nested under my TIS label. So I'm going to create that. So you can see here, I've got it. It's going to go automatically into this label. You can decide whether you want it to just be deleted, which I don't know why you wouldn't just unsubscribe from the email list at that point, but it's an option. You could choose to never send it to spam. So if you're noticing that your spam folder is getting a repeat occurrence from somebody or a company or something that you don't want to be labeled as spam, you can search for that email address and say, look, this isn't spam. Stop sending it to my spam folder. So that's an option there. You can choose to do a canned response. We can talk about those more at another date. A canned response is kind of like a template for a reply. We don't really need that one. You can choose to always mark this email as important or never mark it as important. I would choose to never mark these as important just because I don't feel that they are. You can choose a category. So if you have those category tabs set up in your email inbox, then you could say that this is always going to go into a updates category or whatever. I don't have those categories turned on, so I don't have to worry about that. And then I've got these 2 emails selected here, so I'm going to apply that filter to the emails that I've already received, whereas this filter now is going to start kicking in once I receive more emails from this email address. But I also want it to go to the 2 that I've already got sitting in my inbox. That way I don't have to move them. It's going to move it for me automatically. So you checkbox as many things as you'd like to do with the emails that come from the address that you've got in. Then you click create your filter. So then once it's created, it'll pop up in your filter list. So now I can see exactly what I've told these emails to do. And from now on, any email that comes from this account is going to automatically do all of those things. So like I said, filters are really helpful for trying to just be proactive about getting your email inbox cleared out. So think about anything that you receive a lot that maybe you don't necessarily need to look at every day, but you don't necessarily want to get rid of either. Just something that you can go back and look at on your own time. Those are great things to apply labels to. So I hope that's been helpful. Labels can be kind of tricky when you're first getting them set up. So if you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to reach out on that. Because like I said, I know they can be tricky. It looks simple when you're watching somebody who's kind of set up filters and things before that way. But if you've never done it yourself, it can be really confusing. So please don't think that you're being silly or whatever. Just reach out, and I'd love to help you get this started. That way from now forward, those emails that come into your inbox are ones that you actually want to be there. So I hope this has been helpful. And like I said, if you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. See you next time.